Alright, this video is a review from section 4.5, and 4.5 deals with a lot of radical simplification and solving quadratics that can be solved by square rooting, which really is the easiest method. So I'm going to simplify a few quick radicals and then radicals and then solve this equation. As always, I would recommend you pause this video and you work through these and then use this as a checking mechanism. So pause the video. So the first one, square root of 3/7, remind yourself, of course, you can't have a radical in the denominator. So if I multiply this by the square root of 7/7, multiply straight across, of course, will give me the square root of 21 on top and the square root of 49 on the bottom. And the point, of course, is that this creates a perfect square. And the square root of 49 is 7. And the square root of 21, there are no perfect squares, so that's your answer. The second one, you could multiply the whole numbers together and you could multiply the numbers in the radical together, but that's going to create a larger radical, so I would reduce these individually first, personally. It doesn't matter which route you take. So the square root of 20, of course, is 5 times 4. And the square root of 24 is 4 times 6. It's also 8 times 3, but you're always looking for perfect squares as multipliers to those numbers. So of course I know that the square root of 4 is 2, so I'm going to reduce those radicals. And the square root of 4 is 2, so I have only the square root of 5 left. And the square root of 2, the square root of 4, again, is 2, so I have the square root of 6 left. Then I can multiply my whole numbers together, so 3 times 2 is 6, times 2 is 12, times 2 is 24, and the square root of 5 times the square root of 6 is the square root of 30, and always double check, are there any perfect squares in 30? And no, there are not. So that's your final answer. Then the last one here, solve 2 times x plus 1 quantities squared equals 98. So I would remind you, anytime you have a quantity squared and you're solving, don't FOIL. Make yourself a huge note. Because if you FOIL that out, you're going to be able to solve it, but you're going to end up using the quadratic formula and you're going to FOIL and you just have making the process a lot bigger than it needs to be. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2 first, which leaves me with x plus 1 quantity squared equals 49. And then instead of FOILing again, I'm just going to get rid of that square by square rooting. So that leaves me with x plus 1, and of course anytime you square root in a solving situation, it's plus or minus 7. So I'm going to come up here, x plus 1 equals 7, and x plus 1 equals negative 7 if I separate those, and of course I'll subtract 1. So x is going to equal 6, and it's also going to equal negative 8. Piece of cake.